Okay guys, here is the non-techie setup for OpenClaw that anyone can do, that's super safe, and it's not gonna, steal your emails or buy 1,000 courses or something and think it's helping you. And make sure you stick around to the end of the video where I've got something special to give away. So there's definitely a lot of misinformation and hype around ClaudeBot. If you're using it correctly, then it's not going to take over your computer and go crazy. So that's the first thing. A lot of I think marketers and stuff are sort of hyping it up, and some people are obviously misusing it and just slapping it onto their computer at home, and it is obviously going to run wild if you don't know what you're doing, sort of thing. But with my setup, it's sandboxed, so it's just lives in the cloud, and it's not, you're giving it just the things that you want it to have, sort of thing. So and you've got guardrails. So once I've shown you how to set it up, you basically run it with the brain of, say, ChatGPT or Claude AI. So it's not going to do anything stupid, because both of those models are like brainy anyway. It's only going to do something stupid if you connect like a rogue, dodgy AI that's doesn't know what it's doing. Then it might do some stupid stuff. So the way that I've set mine up is just using no code builder, basically. There's a bunch of them. You've got like Replit, you've got like Base 44, you've got Lovable, and this one that I've used for my OpenClaw bot is called Emergent. Okay, so it's just Emergent AI. I've had mine running for like a couple of weeks, 24/7, posting content, doing stuff for me, and I've not had a problem. It's not gone rogue or anything. So yeah, you don't have to worry about that, because like I say, it's all hosted in the cloud and it only runs on what you give it, unless you were to go out and buy a Mac Mini like some people have done, and then install it onto that. But that's not the way I've done it. I'm doing the super simple way. Of course, everything you can then back up to GitHub, which I'll show you anyway, so that if at some point you did decide to buy a standalone computer or an old laptop or something, and install it on that and then give it certain things, that's something you could do in the future. But for now, the simplest and the easiest way is just a couple of clicks in Emergent, and I'll show you how to set it up. And the actual setup is really quick. The thing that will take the time is sort of training your bot on the things that you want it to do, and obviously everybody's use case will be different. So I'll just show you what I'm using it for, and then obviously you guys can go and use it for whatever you need it for. Let's go. So you just want to head over to Emergent. So this, I'm going to start from a fresh account so you can follow along, basically. So I'm going to sign up with email. You sign up, obviously you just need to confirm your email. And then we are in. So this is just like Replit or Base 44 or Lovable, where you can basically ask it to create websites, apps, all sorts, but just by typing in whatever you want. However, it's got a one-click Multibot new down here installation. So this is what we want, so this is what we're going to do. So we'll click on that. Literally it's pasted in the whole thing, and we're just going to hit that arrow button and it's just going to go and do it. So this is it creating the whole infrastructure for hosting your OpenClaw bot. So basically we just let Emergent do its cooking. It's going to set up its own keys and everything, so we've literally just got to let it do what it does. So and that's it. It's gone through, only took a couple of minutes, and yeah, from sign up to here, maybe about 2 to 3 minutes. All you really need to do now is deploy it. Just hit the deploy button. So here's a little hack actually. So when I deployed this, I thought I only paid $1 and they're asking for $17, but this is on the annual plan. So if you switch it to monthly, you can literally start for $1. So you pay upgrade standard for $1, and then you can deploy your OpenClaw bot, so it's actually live on the web, and then you'll link to it. Just hit the open in new web tab, and then you'll have your link to it. So yeah, you just So once it's deployed, you click on that the web link, and then you'll have it up here. You can obviously save that, and then each time, at the minute it's running, as you can see, but you can hit the stop button if anything was to go wrong, not that it would. And you know, like, you can change the key. You can run it on Emergent. If it's getting quite expensive with Emergent credits, you can change to Claude or ChatGPT. You just need to sign up on their individual websites to get your API key. It's pretty simple. You just create a key. It will give you this long string of numbers. You don't need to know what it is. You just paste it into this, and you can run off of that instead. But if you want to keep it simple, just keep it to Emergent, and then you'll run off Emergent credits. So all you need to do is hit Open Control UI, and then that brings you to your chat interface, and literally just say to it, how do I connect Telegram, please? Imagine Claude is a companion working in another office, a friend in another office at a computer. So whatever he could do, a coder, designer, it could be whatever you want. Imagine him as that, and then you can ask him what to do. So here you go. Look, it's going to give me the exact steps. So you just ask it what to do, basically. So it says, so you can do this on Telegram or WhatsApp. I believe because I'm on a Mac, I had to do it on Telegram, but WhatsApp works for PCs, I think. To chat to it, you basically need another SIM card. So if you've got a phone with dual SIMs, I guess that could work. But what I used is an old phone that's sort of broken screen. I don't need the screen, I just need the brains of the phone. So I downloaded Telegram on this, set it up on here. So this is basically the brain of Telegram that I then message from my regular device to chat to it. So I set up its own Telegram account, basically. So it tells you here, open Telegram, and you search for @botfather, and then start a new chat, and then send /new bot. Follow the prompts, choose the display name for your bot, and then the botfather will give you a token. Basically, botfather creates a token for you, and you just paste that into Claude down here. And it just tells you, once you have your token, update your Claude config. I can help you with that. Just paste the token here when you're ready, and then you can connect. So that makes it so much easier. So that then I can then text my Claude wherever I am. If I'm in the car, you know, on the toilet, literally wherever you are, and you can tell it to do stuff, and you don't have to like jump on a laptop or log in online. So that's the main reason. Then the next thing to do is to connect it to GitHub. Now GitHub's free if you're not technical. Basically, just does a backup of all your code. So just tell your OpenClaw bot to connect to GitHub. It'll probably tell you to set up an account, then give it the login details, and then every time you do something that you think's important, you just say backup to GitHub, and it'll do it. That also means that in the future, if you decide, I do want to set up my own Claude bot, say on a Mac Mini, separate laptop device, you could then access your GitHub backup and bring back all its memories and everything that you've set up. So definitely recommend doing that to back it up, because I've had an instance where I thought I basically wiped my Emergent. I set up Emergent, and then I basically set it up again, and it wiped everything when I deployed it. Yeah, so that's one thing to keep in mind. So once you've opened up your Emergent account and you've deployed your bot, then you can literally just ask the bot, whatever things you want it to actually do, and it will install the stuff for you. So, you don't have to do any coding or anything. So the nice to haves, I've got a couple of on a list. So you can do group chat mode. So that's quite handy. So if you've got your bot, if you at him and then into a group, make sure you've got group permissions, set on, and then you can add other people into the group. And then if you at your bot, he can then chip in on the conversation and add stuff, which is quite handy, especially if you've got a team. Another nice add-on, it can install Whisper for you, and then all you need is your OpenAI key, and you give it to your bot, and then you can then talk to your bot via Telegram voice notes, and then it can actually read them, and it can actually send voice notes back to you if you want, so you can just actually talk to it. So it's a lot easier than actually typing. So if that's something you like to do, Whisper is definitely something that you should add to your OpenClaw bot. Now here's what I use it for, and then obviously you can use it for similar things or completely different things depending on your business. But I use it to obviously generate AI KlipZi videos. I've given it its own account, and then it sends them to me, or it auto posts via Metricool. Metricool is like a posting platform. Yeah, so it's a lot easier than getting your bot to say go onto the web and start to log into your accounts, because that doesn't seem to work. I tried it. You spend a lot of money in usage, but it just can't figure it out. So much better to go via API, and all you do is you sign up to Metricool, and then one of their plans has the access to the API. Just get your key and then you paste it to your bot, and then it's got access basically to your Metricool accounts. You can then just say post XYZ whenever you want, or set up a schedule, and it will do it. If you connect it up to Nano Bana Pro, which is like Google's model for images, if you give it an API key, again, it can generate images for you. So I get it to generate ads for me, so it will generate the image and send it to me in the chat. Or because I've connected it up also to my Facebook account, which is a bit more advanced, but if you're running Facebook ads, you can literally create a token, give it to it, and then it can run your Facebook ads. It can analyze stuff, it can say what ads are working, and obviously you give it a budget so it can't go beyond it. And yeah, I found it really helppful for that. I also use it to write content in my voice because it knows all about my business. I talk to it all the time. I can then say, write an email in my voice, and it will just shoot it back to me in like a second. And now finally, here's some sort of lessons that I've learned while I've sort of been doing the build. It's sort of been making and breaking and learning. Backup to GitHub regularly, just in case you need to pull upon a history, and I've mentioned that, but that's super important. If you're using Claude, like for your AI key, if you'll choose, I know initially I say choose Emergent, but if you are to sign up to Claude as a developer or OpenAI, you just sign up, get your API key. Say you're using Claude, then there's actually different models and they cost differently. So you'll actually be charged more for using like a higher brain model than you would for like a lesser one. So it's worth getting it all set up with Claude top end model like Opus or something, and then you can then get it to run on a day-to-day basis the easier tasks with something like the I don't even know how to say it, the Hakai or Haiku. You got them there, look. So you got Opus, Sonnet, and Haiku. So it's worth setting that up so that obviously when you first set it up and get everything nice, you want to use a higher brain. That's probably going to cost you more in token usage. But once everything's running, then you can let a lesser brain sort of take over to do some of the smaller tasks. But that's something you can just experiment with. Another tip, if Maltbot says, or if OpenClaw bot says it can't do something, just press it and say you can. And quite often it will go, oh, actually I can. Sometimes it might forget, or as long as you've got your documents of everything that you've like the brain, and when it creates like a schedule for you, make sure it creates a document. Ask it, make a document for me, a TXT file, and say I want to download it, and then just take a copy of that, so you can always have that in your back pocket in case you need to re-upload if it forgets, or it's just handy to have. If you find that it's made some mistakes, tell it to fix the mistakes and then save it to memory so that it knows next time. And here's a few more pitfalls that might trip you up. I've written a list. So we've got, don't rely on the heartbeat. Now the heartbeat is kind of like a ping every so often that it will check to see if it needs to do stuff. Now I've tried setting stuff up with it, within its heartbeat. It just doesn't work. So I've got my workaround is for like schedule and post. I've just got it to like code it. So that's one tip. Heartbeats are great for monitoring, but not reliable for posting. You need a supervisor and cron job that it basically sets up. A cron job is like a task that will just happen at a certain time. Not that I'm technical, as you know. Persistence is everything. For instance, when we were posting stuff at the beginning, it was kind of like duplicating the content, and it wasn't like knowing what it had posted and what I hadn't. So we built a JSON registry. I don't even know what JSON means, but a registry that tracks every piece of content status, like planned, generate, posted, so it knows what it's done. But also, obviously, because it creates the posts, once a week I can download a report of all the posts that it's made, send it back to it for it to look at and decide, oh, this topic got X amount of views, this topic got comments, and then it can restructure for the next posts, you know, better content, so it can actually improve itself. So it's not just posting for posting's sake. So I've been testing this. It's posted 47 videos so far across 3 to 4 platforms like TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Saving me obviously hours of work. Obviously, if you connect it to a Gmail account as well, it can do email stuff. Be a bit careful, obviously, if you're connecting your Gmail, I'd set up a fresh one. You know, it's things like that. Isolate it and let it run with stuff and just monitor it. That's my best tip. So there it is. That's pretty much the setup. And it's kind of like, over to you. What will you build with it? It's sort of almost limitless, and it's exciting, and it's not scary. People think it's scary, but it's not scary. Once you actually start playing around with it, you know it's boxed off. You know what you're giving it. It's not scary, and it's not harmful as long as you do it right. So if you want to get my OpenClaw setup blueprint, the learning docs, you know, for the brain, for the Facebook setup, Metricool, anything like that, then just use my Emergent affiliate link. So I'll get a slight kickback on the commission. And yeah, you can have all my stuff. So just email me at hello@klipzi.com, KlipZi.com, or join my school group where you can get it all for free. Bonus, I'll even include the actual KlipZi scheduler code and registry system, so you can copy our exact automation. Final thought, look, I'm not a developer. 6 months ago, I couldn't set up a cron job, but with my AI as a programmer, designer, you know, strategist, I built a content empire that runs itself. The future is here. It's not about replacing humans. It's about humans and AI being unstoppable and 10xing what we could normally do in a year in a couple of weeks. So I hope you find this exciting. I feel like it's a really exciting time. What a time to be alive, hey? So I hope you found this video useful. If you've got any comments or questions, let me know what you're going to do with it. Or if I've missed anything, then let me know in the comments. Bye. One last bonus sort of use case that I'm using it for is for split testing headlines on my book funnel. So I've got a short that I do mention that. You can have a look at my other shorts, but this is powerful. So if you've got like a sales page and you connect your Claude bot up to it via GitHub, obviously I have a backup, it can then change your headlines based on what your ads are. So if it's setting your ads up, it knows what the headlines are. So it sets up the headlines, and it can do it in a way that it doesn't change like your main page. It can do like separate ones, and then just send the ads to different headlines, and whatever headline hits and makes the sale, obviously it can analyze that, and you know, you can scale from there. So that's a really powerful thing that not many people are talking about that you could do. Yeah, so I hope that helps.